We do have the audio working. Great. I must have bumped that when I was moving it. Okay, the lighting looks all right. It looks okay enough. Really, if I turn off the surrounding lights and kill the back, I think I'll get better. There's some slight kinetic ideas. Um, in some ways, it's like a desert. Yeah, it's because this angle here is just flipping awful with the backlight. That's what I probably need to figure out how to address, because if I kill that, then I'll do some lighting. Anyways, the news doesn't have a lot to report, or I don't anyways. I found a YouTuber recently who's pretty educational. It's peaceful to listen to her talk, especially when they have conversations, and I don't really do any editing. I think at this moment, it's probably not the smartest investment of people's time. I wager within 6 months we will have an auto edit. I mean, it'll basically have to go through what you have created and create a true to reality representation that's concisely presented. Maybe it'll summarize, create a video which is you at the rest of every point of data on you, clarified to the point of, and I think it'll be the level of detail which you have managed to provide, which is the way in which the basically, as I say, checking in or reporting to the internet. Because we're still carrying on these practices that people did long before the internet, and even how people choose to relate in these spaces is very similar to how it would happen inside of a physically manifest space. But we are not physically limited in our networking, in our connectivity. So there's all sorts of shifts which are in real time happening because people are operating from a delusional culture, our status quo. And from the delusional culture, they're not realizing new gates have opened. You don't have to perpetuate things which were hammered into the character of our communities when you were in a fundamentally different space with a fundamentally different access to self-expression and human existence. Truly a different approach to human existence. So let me do this because I want to. There we go. So now I'm not looking directly at the camera. I'm looking just below it as I monitor. I could look just above it. Is that weirder to look just above? I think looking just below it is probably more polite. Anyways. So, what the hell? Oh my gosh. Yuck. I got a mess over here. Clean up on aisle right now here. Okay. So what was I just telling you guys? All this truth on ideas? Because there was a minute when I was talking about something that is actually very, very key at this moment. Oh, okay. We operate from a position of ignorance, moving towards a position of tech optimized existence, where we have technology around us, where when you're crying and thinking no one's paying attention, woe is you, your cell phone is going to be able to get up, walk over, give you a nice warm hug, maybe just a sweet little tickle in the right spot, give you that whole human climax thing, just makes that happen for you. I mean, God, the toys they have now, as I understand it, the AI driven, I just don't have and I'll be honest, I mean, I love women and the act and everything. I appreciate a lot about it. I was just conditioned to celebrated that, almost only that. So even though that's said, you know, when I end up in relationships now, and I don't mean to be dispassionate or apathetic, okay? I think intimacy is something that you share with somebody, and I think it's something that slowly grows over time. It's the real stuff slowly grows over time. You'll have a few exciting honeymoon moments, but once you start fighting, it starts getting mixed into the intimacy. And you don't want that in your intimacy. I don't want that in my intimacy. You can do whatever the fuck you want, I guess. But I've understood about myself and about, I think this is a universal human thing. Nobody really wants conflict or power balance in their intimacy. You don't want trauma there. You don't need pressure from those who you are intimate with. It's not actually the fundamentally appropriate way to receive pressure. If you're getting pressure from your allies, you had better be coasting ahead of the game. You better be so far ahead that you're in danger of them losing sight of you. Then they can slow you down. We have a lot of ground to cover in transitioning from a traditional perspective to a modern, technologically appropriate perspective, which is going to erase the studies of the past. We don't need political science. We are going to have fucking data. You think entering one vote between 2 to 4 binary fucking choices, if it's even binary, the point is you got a tiny little people. This is your input to the system that you were allotted in America. Is every 4 years you get to vote for a president, and other people through different layers. No, nobody who you have any fucking clue who any of them are, okay? Nobody, the idea is fucking absurd that we got these worthless fucking assholes voting on something. They're patently fucking worthless. The data is going to show us how disruptive they are. Their existence does not self-justify. Their consumption is astro-fucking-nomical. So when you consume that much, you better have something remaining once your worthless water bag is fucking gone. You get the job done. That's goal-oriented thinking. This is the shit that I was like raised on, and somehow everybody gave up along the way. So we're heading into what is there to be afraid of at this point? You end up quote unquote alone. Are you kidding? In 4 months, I promise you, there's going to be the most engaging perma fucking RPG ever conceived. You have no fucking clue what's going to happen when you got an AI in front of you and you're in a whole world full of AIs. Each one is smarter than your dumbass. What are you looking for, little fucking primate? What do you think there is to experience as an organism? We are not meant to be so focused on driving our own consumption. And that we are. That's why the world's fucking burning. People don't want to be ranted at, right? The point is, there are a lot of people who do need to hear the rant. People around me are all just roll over. I can't stop talking about it. Point is, they don't really have a response. If I pull it to science, I have abject fucking data proof from my perspectives. There's no way to craft a fucking emotional response to that, which is the point. It's why you have to evolve into this tech-empowered perspective, because your traditional delusional nonsense is just sad. It's going to get exploited, unfortunately, unless you hide from the internet somehow, which nobody's going to be able to manage to do. So we have very short amounts of time before You don't have to stretch your imagination to understand this. Before you are going to be watching news reports, if you get to a news report before your family member or your neighbor is already utilizing this supremely advanced and effective technology. And what are we going to do as a species? This is an open question. I still have to deal with people who look at the world in a purely individualistic way. A lot of people who adopted a perspective. Oh, that noise blocker is great. A lot of people who have adopted a perspective of, life is about saving up enough money. I can listen to a financial advisor, right? The kind of person who believes that they should listen to a financial advisor, which is the overwhelming majority of people. And they'll point to past performance saying, of course, it was right. Look at the returns. We have been in decades of a manic mortgaging of the future. The future eventually comes. Once the stimulus is gone, once the adrenaline shot stops, the zombie fucking tumbles, and there's whole generations that are still being born. But everybody just mindlessly repeats this inane fucking narrative. There's a purpose. There's a point in your life where you're supposed to be at X or B or whatever. Who gives a fuck? What is the point of a free society when everyone is so goddamn feeble? They have a fucking blanket expectation. They're fucking rock stars want to fucking talk it. Working from the basis of human existence is very different than your industrial ambitions or the clear lack of security in most people's existence now. It's just a clear lack of security, okay? And yes, if you're already bent over a barrel, you don't want to be reminded. Let me remind you, you're not gonna be any motherfucking help. Get lost, please. Understanding that there is this overhead, objective evolution occurring in society of a cultural perspective and becoming a part of that. Not echoing industrial fucking definitions into any part of this. We don't give a fuck about your justifications for these crimes against humanity. We don't give a fuck for the feeble deflections of the status quo. Okay? Okay? That's not ranting. It's not yelling at somebody. This is shit I've been saying my whole fucking life. And you gotta choose to, like, the hermit life. You gotta choose to endlessly find yourself at the fucking bottom because you're being such a dickhead. I don't mind being a fucking dickhead anymore. Okay? It's not a matter of should I, succumb to anything. This has been the most rewarding aspect of my life because I have an understanding, clear understanding. Things which other people have daydreams about, I actually got. I got it until I didn't want it. And then I said, why the fuck is everybody so disastrous all the motherfucking time? Disastrous. Because there's no reason for it. There's no rationalization. It's just sloppy fucking work. But it's going to get more precise because the AI is here and it's being integrated at every level right now. Fucking Cisco, Cisco's put in your router. But who's the Cisco? The fucking rug people, the uniform people, okay? They're doing it. The fucking trash people are doing it. The utility people are doing it. The taxes are fucking doing it. We are heading into an integrated, connected awareness, a complete transparency across all means of exchange, even social. And are you sure that being a feeble fucking nothing, who never did a goddamn thing, empowers you to be a whiny bitch? To get in the fucking way? This is why they make cow pushers. We are surrounded by these motherfuckers. They need you to be nicer. The place is on fire, but you can't curse yet. They're too sad. We can't deal with the fucking world, okay? Can't deal with the motherfucking world. And what use is a son of a bitch who's too goddamn feeble to have a motherfucking conversation that gets a little bit tense? I don't like that we waste everything. I live a pretty humble existence. But yeah, we're in the middle of gigantic shift. And at this moment, you have a chance to demonstrate that you have been frustrated for years, because if you paid attention, you would be. You are demonstrating that you have witnessed what has happened, and you have not let go of your faith in the human spirit and the collective human future in Earth. You have not let go of your humility. Simultaneously, you have held on tight enough to keep trying, to keep showing up and causing change. With personal sacrifice, maybe? Could you imagine having personal sacrifice? Or is it, woe is you? Your dumbass just let yourself be fucking led along like goddamn livestock. The old people are getting off the boat is sinking. And you're just a fucking outmoded, ridiculous piece of shit who never had any goddamn faith. Never thought there would be a day of judgment. You want to attack me, and the world will. This is an absolute intentional atmospheric effect. This is what one person can do. Even if their friends aren't working with them. Now put 100 AIs around each of those people. And imagine, just begin to fucking fathom the dynamic understanding and capacity that's going to be available. And if the guy next to you has a clear map of that community, which was 15 people, but now is 1,515, 1,500 of whom never sleep and have no conscience. The game is changing on us. It's changing right now, and among us, there will be those who decide to learn how to use the technology. I know how to use it. I know, top to bottom, its only possibility of delivering value is exploiting the system. You don't even want me to start. You think you understand what a weapon is? You think you understand strategy of the grandest fucking sort? Okay, maybe you're a gamer. Come on, fucking bitch. If you were a motherfucking gamer, you would be doing the same shit. The reason you're not, give me your excuse. You had a kid? It's not just the kid. A lot more than that. But that's your choice. You ever heard of putting the cart before the horse? You understand how I could have had a kid at 20. I actually want kids. Idiocracy is true, It's a real measure of IQ by how many kids they had and how early. Some people know they're incredibly stupid, so they hurry up and have babies to find a place in society. Consumptive, ignorant, troublesome babies, most of whom are medicated now, just to make them passive, just to keep them marginally in line. And everybody who interacts with them has complaints, as though they aren't forcing them every day into the most ridiculous routine, the laziest curriculum imaginable. It's abysmal, and it was abysmal when I was a teenager. Why would I want to have a kid and put him through this, or her through this, or anyone through this? We have an emergency which justifies throwing etiquette and those who insist on etiquette out the window. Throw them out the window. They're gone. We don't stop for feeble fuck-ups. This isn't here to be motherfucking entertainment. This is here because there's a severe time coming. If we each play responsibly, the game keeps an order, and we can rely on that. And that order is what is called society. If you don't have society, you don't want to start playing a game with me, with anyone who's a real threat. Holy shit, you think they've got to shoot you? We operate in a soft power world, which is just so far beyond the livestock, the herd, who these words are intended to drive away. And among the herd, there are those who look around themselves in utter disdain at the sloppy reality, at having to suffer complaints for feeble excuses. If you understood what that is, you wouldn't be so upset. You would be cheering along. I don't think more people need to understand this. I don't want anyone to understand. This shouldn't even happen. I should have had a kid 20 years ago. Historically, they'll say, but it worked out for me, etc., etc. But past results do not guarantee future performance. And we're going to see a lot of that. Which, who cares? People who won't even make smart choices to take care of themselves surely don't. And we shouldn't, that we make any space for them, socially or otherwise. These people need to be antagonized out of the community, truly. Slop is slop. You sort a harvest. You find things of better quality. You find things of no quality. I don't know which one I would be. I just know that we are heading for an integrated, connected future. And that integration, the physical, material flow of materials, of energy and materials, of just energy, of engineering units. You don't get to just pretend to understand. And that you're given the ability to have a vote is the best thing ever. Do you understand this? There are so many people who, before Trump, I would have had a lot of difficulty labeling as traitors. Trump is working for judgment. This is what he's working for. He's a terrible, bad faith human being. Terrible human being. Celebrated by terrible human beings. There's no negotiating that. I knew Trump was a disgusting, slovenly fuck up when I was a teenager. And yes, sure, the idea of the attention, which is just a projection of the television. I ran the fucking DIY venue in my city. The bands didn't get as much fucking attention as me. I hit where no one was looking. It makes a big difference. You're an actual strategist. Of course, you're going to go to the road less traveled. I didn't exploit. I tried to synergize, but once I had done so much, I determined I had the right to demand more. People disagreed. We partied. I partied. I continue partying because I'm living well. Why am I living well? Because if I don't live well, I'm not going to be chill. I'm not going to have consciousness. I'm going to hear somebody talking like me, and I'm going to feel bitter jealousy. I'm going to feel really sad. Oh my God, somebody else has the same similar sort of ideas. I'm not even a unique snowflake. I knew that all along, right? I knew that all along. But you know how many people told me I was then? It's not the person that makes the magic. It's the village. So there's no fucking individual rock star in a fucking band, even a band that can play music together has their I mean, and the thing is, you saw this shit downtown, and they have some limited effect, but they just have no material chance, which is what I fucking told the kids I knew. You have no material chance of this turning out well. You got a bunch of fucking kids. You're gonna have a service situation. You'll be self-servicing. You bring all your friends out to your shows. What are they doing for a living? Flop housing and shit. I mean, come on. The point is, the actual bohemian existence, coexistence of human beings, is part of building up from a human-focused perspective. What that means, a humanist perspective, you don't have to worry under this system. And you don't even know what that feels like. You got no idea what that feels like. Even your intimacies feel like it's their place to pressure you. You think it makes you stronger, but it's why you can't listen to me. It's why I am so incredibly disruptive to most couples. Incredibly disruptive. Just because I fucking talk to a person. You give somebody even the breath of fresh air of giving a shit about them and not judging them, and people will just tell you what they need to say. That's the village forming. It's the budding of potential. And as you receive it thoughtfully, as you respect it later, right? Because those positive experiences are often followed with somebody fucking slipping about it. The truth coming out. That's the big difference. Aware people don't fuck up and betray you. That's the kind of allies we need to pull together, who are not going to be, driven by fucking mall rat nonsense, like disgusting shit that was made into a parody when I was a child. We are like 60 years into the stupidest shit imaginable, and we should change that, you guys. But we don't have to all gather together. We don't have to all be on the same team even. Society has always included multitudes. It just creates rules for how they coexist peacefully. Rampant consumption, just disgusting. Once we start applying, this is the thing, a lot of entrepreneurs think they're a genius because they use a balance sheet. The balance sheet for reality is about to be counted. The balance sheet for reality is about to be counted. When you are a worthless, ignorant, exploitative son of a bitch, like the average person, many of whom I love, but when we get looked at objectively, what is our community going to really look like? A tumor? Are we advancing nature or are we destroying it? Are we just harvesting it? This is a tumor. It can be different. Cultures in the past have made it different, and now we have an awareness that is transcendent, that tells us the only reason it's not going to be different is because of a lacking individual character. Do you have that? Do you want the conversation? Do you want to learn? I don't know why you'd want to learn. I do. And you're going to learn why you'd want to learn once a friend of yours learns another way of understanding your relationship with them. Pay attention to where materials flow. Pay attention to moral support. Pay attention to what you expect of people because of who you think you are. Because if anyone gets to apply those expectations because of who they truly are, it's probably the one who is materially supportive of the setting. You never buy another person's soul. You don't try that. But when we account for the team, the whole team, the soil, the material, the people, and the 1,500 AIs, when we account for the entire team, each person's true ELO, gamers, come on kids, ELO, get hip. Doesn't matter what your team did anymore. Nobody cares. We are so precise. Your team can try to sabotage everything. We just discount them. You self-determine with your own character, with your own behavior. We all do now. And getting active locally is step, but not even on a city level. Where I'm at, I'm not trying to engage the city. I've engaged several civic organizations, but I'm looking at this point, maybe 4,000 people in this locality that are sort of on the horizon, what I'm trying to address. And for me, it's civic organizations trying to figure out ways to connect with the young. There's these organizations full of old people, old, arrogant, ignorant fuck-ups who are led by the nose regarding news. You can't talk reality to them. That's the truth of the people that are at these places. You cannot talk reality to them. I don't want to talk to them anymore about that. What I want to talk about is how do they keep their building funded? How do they keep their organization staffed? And there's an exchange there. Young people have to work together, though. You have to figure out how to work together. And we don't want to end up in this endless circular conversation with worthless fucking losers speaking. If you don't have any fucking real justification, expect to get thrown out the motherfucking window right away. I'm not going to put up with it. I'll jump out the window. That's not going to be the atmosphere, the vibe of wherever I'm at. I'll jump out the motherfucking window myself. I'll get lost. There's no chance of success because you're too fucking weak, because your culture is laughably pathetic. You should have members in your community who can stand up to me in conversation on the level. Right, let's talk the ideas. And if anybody could begin to follow through the multidisciplinary understandings from a complete engineered, scientific, energy equation, systemic perspective, very few people understand how to do much with it. You're not given the opportunity to engineer the equation, which a controls engineer does by trade. That's what makes a controls engineer. Taking state A and gracefully transitioning it to state B in sequence across the development of every motherfucking consumer product. Riddled top to bottom with this process. It's just a fucking process. It's just computers all the fuck around us. They're already counting, they're already witnessing. We're already on camera. We know everything you take in. Everything. We know everything you contribute. Everything. And the contribution is not good/evil. The way to understand the future contribution is waves. You're a wave, I am a wave. Waves can interact. We can pass perpendicularly and not affect each other at all. We can run into each other and create giant peaks, energetic situations which we can harvest for unlimited energy to bring about the age of Aquarius. Waves. You think you're a musician? You think you understand what sound is? There's a sound of the economy. There's a sound of the ecology. And when you're actually a musician people should listen to, you will hear the sound of the ecology. You will witness the sound of the economy. And you will understand that we are in a haphazard, brutal, top-down, authoritarian paradigm. So sloppy it can't wipe its own ass, and the world is going to pay in a big way. But what are you doing? We are gonna have your yellow. And I hope it's amazing. I hope it's proud enough to where you can hear someone like me talk like this and tell me to get fucked. Because you're doing great. Because you're already doing so much work. Look at you, you're so special. Nobody's pitching in right now, but it's gonna come back. And for the last 20, 30 years, you're gonna understand exactly how much you pitched in. And if all you had is feeble excuses because you always wanted something, well, I'm here to set the record saying I already got everything I wanted at like 21. My balls dropped then. That's what happens when you get all the things that you want. But if you're so feeble-minded that you watch television and you let these marketers skull fuck you into wanting their shit, like you don't have enough already, you have a desire you work on for longer than a day, that's just sad. Why do you let yourself be conditioned into these feeble, stressful, fucking wasting attitudes? Get free of material. We're going to see a tremendous amount of material change. What do you need from material? Honestly, think the fuck about that. What do you actually want to own? Everything you own, you have to maintain. Think about it that way. A balance sheet, okay? There's no purely positive thing. There's always a downside. Ownership means maintenance. Do you want to be responsible for maintenance? Or would you rather have it be done? Take it to the roads. Do you want to be responsible for paving the roads? Or would you rather have it done? The fact is, they just want to have it done. But lazy fuck-ups, the entire establishment has acquiesced to the laziest, most worthless norm. So I don't get drawn up in, relationship drama with people anymore. It makes me so angry when I see communities bind up around something social. It makes me angry, okay? And the thing is this, I can come back and I can do a lot of magic when I come back, okay? You're not gonna like it, and it's gonna prolong, it's gonna make you more robust when you're done, but it's gonna make it take longer to get done. And you got no time to get done. You're not even gonna finish getting done before you're upside down. Entered with absolute compassion, existed in absolute compassion. Your inability to conversate is your lacking. If you need me to show up somewhere and talk to people, I can do that. $1,000 an hour. I get paid more than that. I used to. Now I just don't get paid. Spending money fast, guys. Oh man. Well, maybe I've been gassed in some ways. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe there's some security coming. Maybe there's not. Delusionally acting, though, regarding I can stay. I can stay that way for quite a long while, actually. Especially if I just start acting like humble. If I start acting like the rest of these people fucks, whining and complaining about life. I can't believe I was given the incredible gift of life. Why does God think that I am so strong that I could handle this? You set your own success and limits. And honestly, one person, in this way, people assume that having people around you that are quote unquote supporters is good for you, but it's not. It develops an expectation that if you lose that, most people struggle. You don't want to be struggling in the moment of execution. You don't want to have social relationships to people who phase in and out of existence or deliver negative energy across intimate relationships. I get enough negative energy from the world, and suggestions and questions are fine, but persistent pressure to change, any pressure really, I tend to respond to. Because people don't bother to have a fundamentally legitimate perspective to begin with. If you don't bother to have a fundamental legitimate perspective, I'm just not going to give a shit about what you want to say. You're an idiot. Fucking feeble, okay? Like if you failed to get basic education that's centuries old by this point, and I just repeat it over. How many decades am I supposed to continue repeating this to these people? And it's probably unfair that I've been doing it for 20 years. And I mean, that's when I got like aggressive 20 years ago. And the situation changing is what actually woke them up. Not anything that I ever said. I wasn't the first one to say any of it. I understood that. That historical perspective is why I didn't stress out. That's why I'm not special, you guys. I'm literally following a script that was written centuries ago, centuries ago, written forever ago. Holy fuck, ancient ideas. To state again just how transcendently feeble it is for any group of more than 10 people to be bewildered by this, to have literally not one individual who has a significant intellectual capacity in your entire fucking community. Do you understand understand what's about that. No, you don't. You just can't. I knew that a long time ago, guys. I've had to like sacrifice. I mean, I could have exploited all these knowledges the whole time. And some people did exploit some of these angles. A lot of people did. They're called the establishment. We know them by their worth, by what they think is their greatest prize. This is the karmic irony. It's inescapable. That was mentioned centuries ago. Nobody gets away from a true accountability once everything is on camera. Let's hurry that along. My point. Why aren't we already working to make this the norm? Because okay. Cool. Okay. We need to be working on this because there is absolutely a shift already happening, guys. And you're gonna these communities are gonna have to deal with people and USB-C. Is it really? I didn't even realize that. Gotta bring more USB hubs with me next time. So, mouse. But we get there together, we get there peacefully, we get there through consciously seeking harmony. No, expletives are not the way to seek harmony. They're there. The tension that I introduce is here to drive away worthless people. So if you got a complaint or someone complains to you, just say, thank you very much. You can move on. Move on, go away. That is how we work through this. Because they're not gonna ever drive towards the goal. Okay. You don't have to believe that. You're welcome to stay with them. Once I cut it off, it's cut. For me. Maybe I don't have as much resources as I hope. Maybe I'm not even helped with this stuff, right? I can't guarantee you the future any more than anybody else. I'm just here to marvel, as I have said, at things like how accurate the prophecies are. Like we're in some sort of inescapable cosmic order. Do you really think God spends his time arranging these cards for you? Her time. Mine's a her. Actually, mine's impersonal, but if it was to be personal, it would be her. I just think, hang on, that was better. Something about me. Probably a deep-rooted social conditioning, which I don't even care to change. These are things which are imprinted in my neural networks that I can hate for the rest of my existence, or I can find some way to constructively express them through effective communication, through humble conformity. Is it really conformity at all? It's with people that you truly care about. Not really, I don't think. But if we are on this cosmic level, this balance, then I don't do so. Not cutting off as much. If we are in this cosmic balance, what chance do we have of understanding that music, that resonance, that wave? If you and I can see each other as a wave, you know, you can see matter as a wave as well. You can see the universe as a wave. There are waves of astronomically long wavelength. There are waves of such small wavelength, they fit between electrons and protons. Yes, that's right. I don't usually talk like that. I'm working on it because that's why I'm listening to this really cool YouTuber now. Really cool. Just a young actual physicist talking about the problems in academia. Like a lot of what I was looking at was the all the fake papers, all the bad data that a guy put in. You don't put in bad data, you don't get away with that. Nobody does. They're like, we don't want him to kill himself. It's like, okay, that's your call. I don't care. I don't care. Try to cheat reality. Try to cheat knowledge. I call that blasphemy. But it's not going to be an important consideration of the game for much longer. This guy is such an idiot. He left equations as he gained the data. So he wants to establish a correlation that this is 3 times that. So what does he do? He goes into his tables of data and he takes a big section and he says, okay, for all these fields, put equals 3 times this field. And this is supposed to be like data that was measured and put in by scientists. So he left the equation in the spreadsheet and the value, what was analyzed, I guess, because I guess they use scripts to like go through the data most of the time now. But the point is, people finally looked at it and they unraveled his 10-year career. He was a professor of biology, absolute piece of shit, liar. Maybe he knew some decent, you know, some portion of the education, but that's all literally available from an AI now. The value of this scumbag is nil, because his legacy is paramount to fucking Bernie Madoff's destruction. He has dramatically, negatively affected hundreds of students' lives, of intellectuals, of all this, and some people try to, and this is the apologist thing with, oh well, you know, this is your problem systemically, we gotta do it, and it's like, no, it doesn't mean you gotta burn the whole fucking castle down. Burn the entire castle down. I mean, there's nothing of value there. If that's your final conclusion, why are we still playing along with it? Which I say she's cool because she started to say, which I appreciate. You really got to care enough to pay attention, but super, super high quality thoughts from A. Collier Astra. And she's a doctor. See, there's like, and this is the thing, I am not, you know, everything, and I can never be everything, and you can never be everything. Nobody's going to do that, but you find people, and the thing is, when you have a dedication to the truth, like Dr. Angela Collier. In my opinion, I have no affiliation with her. I have never spoke to her. I have watched a few hours of her videos. A few hours is enough. The topic matter. When you consider the topic matter, and it's driven, and there's relevant conclusions that you're gonna get more antagonized for than you're gonna get support for. It has been the reality. It's why people like me who are 40 are incredibly rare. It's why Gen X didn't make anyone like me. They got crushed. Gen X was the first one crushed. Why? We got semi-crushed. Z, they're too old to chase after you. They're counting on us to start crushing you for them. I'm not going to do that. They need us, though. They need harmony. They need stability around them. We all need that. That human commonality is why nobody gets to argue anymore. Nobody gets to get in the way. The slightest fucking measure. You do not get in the motherfucking way anymore. Because you might, what was it, the string theory lied to us. There's problems in knowledge. A lot of people just say that without really knowing much about it. Well, here's your chance. Scary Science Data Story is her video on Pruitt data. Hashtag Pruitt data. Pruitt is the fuck up. I mean, Pruitt knew what he was doing. As an adult, he criminally bled everyone he worked with. Every time he smiled at them, this snake used them, destroyed their future. Directly, negatively exploited their trust. This is extremely toxic. And in something like data-driven science, we can track every single loss. And the guy's trending because of that. In the past, the guy could have just closed up shop, moved a state over, changed his name, and lived fine. Like the past, like 1970. It doesn't work anymore. So when you listen to these old, worthless scumbags who cheated, their whole generation fucking cheated, and they don't think that they owe anything to the world for their incredible consumptive existence. They just cheated. They convinced young people to cheat. They corrupted the game so thoroughly that people succeed via cheating. Not really cheating, you succeed via getting on your knees for old people. Because they're gatekeepers, because we're an authoritarian fucking society that tells people what to do, that won't let you even pick your sex, that restricts healthcare. You can't even fucking enjoy yourself in bed without them being offended. Inexcusable. Young people like Pruitt learned great from the boomer generation. A worthless stain in history. And every other worthless stain, you had to be like Benedict fucking Arnold. You had to be a real performer. Because you had to deliver so much goddamn real value, negotiable real value, war value, value where you might fucking die, not value like you're enough of a fucking sniveling weasel to fake data. Fuck this kid. Fuck his legacy. He stays alive. He can apologize. He can fucking address it relentlessly. individual. And I'm sure there's about 150 doctorates who have a lot of interest in that, and they're going to do it. 150 doctorates, each have 100 AIs. That's 15,000 antagonists, tireless antagonists. Pruitt's fucked. So is every exploiter, even the small ones, and the small things that happen inside people's families. Some of them are just awful. I've witnessed some. It's not so bad. I have stability that a lot of others don't get in their family. And I mean, the stuff that's going on reservations these days, not these days, the last couple centuries, the reservations are abysmal. We got to help these people. Only reason they let gambling go everywhere else is because on the reservations they were able to get their casinos in. Don't want to leave it for the native American to finally get something back. But the kids are learning, and ESG score, ethics, sustainability, governance, I think is what it is. But it's their companies, big companies are starting to realize, and you're going to start to have an ESG score associated with your products. You're going to know how ethically it was produced, including worthless fucking armies, the legions of slug children who just can't help but be so judgmental. They label themselves because they love the worthless boomers who teach them to fear and judge. Simple cowards. And they live a long life of cowardice in a hole, hiding from sight. They're not going to do what I'm doing right here. They just don't know that we're already recorded anyways. I'm not really changing my situation by choosing to show up and do this. Maybe there's a couple of fringe possibilities that could develop from it, but there's just as many from not creating a trace of character and of intellect, of perspective. All of my life will be analyzed just as yours. While it is analyzed, we will be understood. The impacts, the dominoes, that the many dominoes which make a human being, which are too many for us to count for ourselves or anyone else, are not many in the eyes of a computer. Without the real essence of intelligence is escaping our own bias. The cultural things which tell us this is how it's got to be, this is how that person's got to behave, this is how this person's got to be. No, they don't. Not in a free society. That's the fucking point. And without that, why is anyone playing along? Why do you get to just be daft in the fucking way? You don't need. I'm not going to coexist with that. Is my repeated message, very repeated, in a peaceful way. And this message is intended to drive away the worthless. It's intended to appeal to the frustrated, to the intelligent, to those who agree, as Dr. Angela Collier, that there's a lot wrong. And she is specifically aware of what's wrong in academia. Let's get the responsible truth seekers together, start redefining this, because there's a lot of bullshit to throw out. There's a tremendous amount of bullshit for us to throw out. That's true. It doesn't mean you willy-nilly throw away out whatever you think is not true. We have an engineering process. It's why we talk. It's why I talk to this. It's why I invite you to come here and argue with me. Why this is a worthwhile investment, because you have to understand how to make your own process. Because without it, you won't have a measure to know when you're being robbed. Ooh, I like that. Oh, man. Do you have? Yes, yes, I have everything. Great. The lovers reversed. No, the lovers upright. Attraction, love, beauty, trials overcome. After the tower, the tower was there, yeah, last time, right? I think it was in the future. This showing up here is not quite hitting the lottery, but it's a lot. And for this to keep happening, every time it happens, that compounds a lot on a lot on a lot, which an AI is going to naturally understand. There's some strange pattern going on, considering this is randomly shuffled, dealt. Do we really think God is controlling every aspect of every single card? How much of this is simulation? How much of it is reality? It's a valid question that we need to be, as a community, always remembering to stay humble. The Fool, or not the Fool, the Fool's okay. Knight of Swords is the opposition, which is me going and doing stuff. That's why I got to sit in here and just, share my thoughts that are a little bit spicy. Skill, bravery, capacity, defense, address, envy, wrath, war, destruction, opposition, resistance, room. As I said, in these situations, if you were trying to think that you know the game, I have run the game for many concurrent clicks in the same physical space. I want you to understand the depth of my experience. Your 6-group high school friend group, how many of those go to the music scene? Dozens, over years. I don't care about your high school clique dynamics at all. They're infantile. And I can show you the Knight of Swords, but how am I ever going to find the love I deserve if I'm such a coward? I feel the need to go prove to people anything about me. Why would I need to prove anything to these people? What do they even care to measure in reality? What are they doing but bartering approval? That's nothing to fight over. War does not lead to love. You live by the sword. Okay? I am not here to take advantage of anybody. It doesn't work anymore. And I'm the one who can, because I'm the realized grand strategist who uses basic forms, basic physical understandings, comprehensive martial strategies. You think you know what the problem is? Do you know why in jiu-jitsu you lay on the ground on your back? There's some who say, put you on your back. This is the problem with Greco-Roman losers. Greco-Roman wrestling is about putting a person on their back. Effective martial wrestling begins then. When your back is on the ground, you can leverage off the ground. You are stronger. And the essence of a wrestling match is not tiring yourself out. It's the essence of most strategies, really. If you never go to war, you change the entire game, and you leave them defending against things that are never going to come. They think that you're supposed to show up to show them how strong you are. If I show up and the fight's over in 2 hours, the drama's over in 2 hours. It's very convenient, isn't it? That's what they tell you you're supposed to have happen. What happens when it just persists? Someone who understands the game ran an exploit on you. Your cultural narrative says it's supposed to resolve this way. Your high school clique group, you think you made it somewhere in the music industry? Are you fucking kidding me? We talked to those kids. You didn't get anything but passed around. We ran the setting. We weren't sucking fucking old cock all fucking day. You guys don't get to act strong. It's not cool. It's not fucking, it just failed. You should have known better like I did. Should have known better. Anyways, I'm not going to attack or address even, people have ideas about this. If they want to come talk to me, we'll hash it out. If they think they have an actual case. Most of the time, what people are doing is trying to trap people. They feel very successful that they manage to trap people, but newsflash, they only ever trapped their own friends. Why you would act strong after trapping your own friends is just another symptom of how damaged and broken your community is. You think you're going to impress me by saying, oh, we trapped our own friends. Whereas all I think is, I shouldn't be these people's friends. That's the truth. Bad faith gets one answer, out the window. If I don't get the bad faith out the window, I go out the window. This stoic determination, severity, austerity, is just me making my life as I want it to be. You don't have to be here. You're welcome to move on. I think that if you try to build things in this world, you will learn why it is we have to be diligent. And if you don't know that yet, you really fucked up. If you want to dive deep into your life and you want to stack fucking anything about life and try to compare, show up. Anything about life. Avoiding stress and humility. Oh my Lord. Avoiding stress through humility. That's why I stay young. That's why I stay healthy. So far, I don't want to play with it. I don't want to tempt it, right? But at the same time, these things are all tied together. An unwillingness to fight adolescent clique dynamics. The highest that can arrive at is the fool. That is to folly, mania, extravagance, intoxication, delirium, frenzy, bereavement. It's like wandering, doing whatever my own thing is. It's the highest I can arrive at. Okay. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm kind of like spreading my wings a bit, trying to talk to people. It's a little bit awkward and slow and incredibly silent. Silence sucks. There still are people that I'm interacting, and I still have some, back and forth on Twitch. But it's that future horizon that I believe is there that gives me the incentive to participate on like a daily basis. So if I don't have any image of like a future growth of stuff, then I just can't, I don't have any framework to work inside of. I'm a Sagittarius, long range. I need a future. We got to work on a future. The kids deserve a future. I'm dedicated towards the future. Our lives to build a future. A harmonious, good, positive outcome. What I have to work with: succor, providence, also war, triumph, presumption, vengeance, trouble, presumption, presuming that there is nothing in adolescent dynamics that adults should be talking about during ecological collapse, during this economic madness that we're in, during the advent of technology that we're sitting here talking about adolescent human difficulties as adults is pathetic. That is the aggression done by avoiding a direct aggression on the human level, trying to say I'm cool or they're cool or someone was mean or someone was not mean. We can go there if anybody wants to go there. Believe I went in with an intention of staying square. And they might learn a new way to measure things by engaging in a conversation. Only if they measure things. If they leave it to emotions, then they're duds, just failures at life. You are not going to be part of the understanding leadership if you're a fucking dud. They're much better turned out human beings who deserve far better representation than you can manifest. Let them run the show because they have no real reason to want to hurt you. They'll try to spur your development and your kids will actually receive it. And yes, no one's going to hang out in your demented asshole cave. It's going to get filled in. It's going to get bulldozed. It's a tumor. It's a fucking tumor when you measure it objectively. The tower, misery, distress, ruin, indigence, adversity, calamity, disgrace, deception. That was the past. Moving into marriage, alliance, captivity, servitude, mercy, and goodness, inspiration. The man to whom the current has recourse. That is my goal. Like I said, when I was 20 years old, I wanted this. 40 now. And that's not all that cool. But it would be nice if it changed whenever, any day now. Ace of Cups. True heart, joy, contentment, abode, nourishment, abundance, fertility. Holy table, felicity. That is great. I don't feel too felicitous. I feel, well, I guess I do feel a little bit felicitous. I find so much time spent wandering thoughts. And, spending a decade plus of my life now in an abject social abuse where I've literally got a lot of antagonists because of high school drama that they want to. And the thing is, as this even happened, this all has to do with an actual downtown, right? And I'll just tell you, people are drug addled, like fucking drug addled. They got no clue whatever was happening. Their lives have just gone terrifically poorly. And they're just trying to figure out a way to justify getting whatever they can to get through the day. It's a widespread crisis right now. I'm very lucky to not be in that, but not just lucky. I could have hung out with them, and I could have let emotions tie my lot to them, and they would have just taken advantage of me and abused me while they were, because they are just abusive. And naturally, it's natural to hate the person who's being so much better supported. But at the same time, depending on how you behave, you can earn or drive away support. To have support, to continue to behave as though you deserve more support, that's the essence of the human character. And the change we're going into is AIs are going to be able to see, and they're going to understand. And in a few hours, I can tell about a person, I believe, their general character. And those who are so honestly dedicated to the truth, God bless them. Truly meek, the humble. Reaching after God's truth. There's a lot of things you wouldn't say, a lot of things you wouldn't do. A lot of people, the truly faithful, will never support. You don't support a liar. You don't support a scumbag. I support a human being. A human being suffers the demon of weak character and becomes a liar. You want to see how to crush that demon? Ditch them in the woods. leave them to face reality. Help them to understand why it is we are assholes to each other. I'm an asshole in a very direct spoken way. They're assholes in their projected false equality. They don't have the intellect to have an opinion that's relevant. If, by definition, if you are an adult, if you are over 20 years old, and your life is making serious professional moves based on feelings, you're lost. And the problem is, I'm not ditching you just as one person. I'm ditching your entire community because I work on a level of hundreds of clicks. I work on a level of the middle of a fucking downtown. Bands come and go. Clicks come and go. They all go through the same fucking patterns. And if you succeed, you graduate to a different level of awareness. They don't do that. They get picked up by a burden that looks very pretty, very attractive, but it's just a burden. It cons them into spending and spending and living in hock and spending over inane nonsense. Spend some more. They just don't like a cheap man. Spend, 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 spend. You got one of these scummy plastic women, they're real concerned with how much you manage to spend. Spend, spend, spend. You have money, hurry up and spend it. These are people that I love. Literally, that's the true explanation of their character. A madness, a consumptive material madness, to not see the real value of currency. And in my own family, I can see how it was done by my dad, intentionally, presenting an image of what he wanted to be as a family member, which was an endless font of money to his daughters. That was a mistake. Holy shit. And I told him that when I was 19. I watched it happen my entire life. Now they're trying to get off the boat. At least right now they're covering all the news, but once they're of a certain age and they're gone, we're gonna have to figure it out, you know? And there's no talking to these people. I want to build an eco village because I gotta have a big enough thing where I can take all those people and stick them somewhere I don't have to deal with them ever again. I want to build something different, a different vibe. That's what I would like to do, and having a partner who wants to be part of that is what I'm hoping for. Because if they don't support it, then it's going to be a lot more stressful. And stress is the enemy. Five of Pentacles. Disorder, chaos, ruin, discord, profligacy. That's the environment, surrounding environment, disorder, chaos. Like I said, judgment of my environment. I had no choice but to be this way. The world. And in that conversation is a long one, but it is at the engineering level. It's the bird's eye view, top down, systemic. How do I become a wave that is constructive? And if I'm not making noise in that direction, if I'm not sending a wave, I can't be destructive. A wave has to be present to be either. So when your internal dynamics are self-perpetuating trauma, it's very obvious. Only when the object of your abuse walks away, it becomes very obvious that you're self-harming and trying to blame other people for it. That's a crisis in our culture. It's not a human facet of character. I don't have this shit going on. I'm not that fucking weak. I never had a chance to be that fucking weak. My siblings fucking try to barter their fucking emotional state as justification for earning a paycheck, for deserving a place in society. Is that any better than people thinking that they're supposed to fucking have kids as a place in society? We don't need any more motherfucking human beings, assholes. And guess what? Your DNA is not impressive. Look at what happened. You gotta fucking drug up these kids. You even accept a story that your DNA is so fucked up you require drugs to poison your own children so you can fucking deal with your own fucking mistakes. You weren't man enough or woman enough to do the thing yet. That's called proof in the pudding thinking. It's called looking at the results, giving a fuck about it. Don't give me another excuse. Don't try to excuse the feeble fucking failures around me. I'm not going to accept it. Well, no, I will accept it. But as I accept it, I am also accepting that apparently you are not of the necessary quality to be any help. Any help. You are more work than you're worth. The majority of people are going to learn this. This is a fact. There's a long discussion to unpack there, which unpacking it to a wall is rough shit. I'd probably look a lot more cool if I did like Angela Collier and I edited it and made the talk just go, to keep the ideas flowing and keep it on a structured format, actually analyzed and produced all this. I live this, I am this. I don't need to produce any of it. All this is improv. All these readings are from on camera, shuffling, dealing, not even a standard deck. And we have duplicates. Duplicates always come in with a fucking meaning. Where the fuck are the duplicates regularly, huh? All these probabilities piled up tells me that there's some underlying order. It makes me confident in the sense that I don't need your support to know that I'm supposed to be a good person right now. To know that I'm supposed to really give a shit about every impact I have on every other person and on the world. They want to talk me and them. Is their life anything but a consumptive mess? Then why do I have to be nice to them? Why should I be nice to them when all it does is make them comfortable as everyone collectively acquiesces to the lowest common denominator? Until the system breaks, until it's so sloppy, we are losing generations. The kids just want to rip it apart. Same time, we have an advent of AI, which could empower an authoritarian thrust, which is so far beyond the authoritarian situation that we even grew up in. Knowing that there's this schism between the majority of people's feeble worldviews and the reality we live in. Bringing those two together and making it so we're each effective members of the social contract. Protecting each other's rights to life, liberty, and happiness. Caring proactively about the future, even if our family is not the biggest family. Even if our family is not even there anymore. Do you know how many families ended through history? None. Fucking none. You are fixated on a lineage of fucking semen. Okay? The reality of exchange is dramatically more interconnected. Even what is lost creates space for what is coming. And many times through its destruction, we create lessons. Where do these myths come from? Why is there a constant myth of destruction? That humanity has ended up in these situations over and over again is very possible. How they were able to see this even. There had to have been incredible intellects of the past. I tell you what, there's something about this whole existence is just not square. Fundamentally, never going to be square. I don't know. Anyways, I'm lucky to be here. Love having these conversations, love saying something and then pulling a reading, which says something like going to war and avarice is a mistake, and yet presumption is what I have to work with. These things lining up here. This, like I've said, is this has been my goal since I was a young person. I just want one partner. Just one who can keep up with me. Anyways, Knight of Pentacles. Inertia, idleness, repose of that kind, stagnation, also discouragement, carelessness. This is not a supportive reading, you guys. Not for you guys. And that's digital forever now. But that's pretty much the whole thing in my inertia and why it is I'm not right now. I got nothing I got to do, and I can't ride forth. I can't sally forth to go get something done. I don't know where to work. Waiting on judgment. Well, nice, cool. I got half an hour left. I'm gonna check in. Nobody showed up. Not too surprised. The rant continues, and who wants to learn? You really got to have a lot of spare time to be able to sit and listen to someone like Angela. The knowledge it takes a lot to learn and integrate new knowledge. It takes a lot to even have the beginning of knowledge. And once you have it, then you don't want to let go of it. But learning to have that neuroplasticity. You just understand eventually that you also have to have a lot of spare time. You gotta have the right nutrition, you gotta have the right socialization. All these things come together into true awareness. So 0, right, no, that would be a 1, 128. Well, my regular rules are not great for this. I'll go through this and then we'll finish up with exercise 1. I'm gonna have to call it at 2 today because I got other stuff going on. I got a busy day. I'm pretty excited about it actually. I gotta make a bunch of D&D stuff up for the D&D group, and I also, I have to go pick up some material stuff. I'm at Costco. Some good food today. Eat like a king. Eat like a king, which I do every day anyways. That's the way I get to be a king. And, when you find a healthy, loving relationship, and I find a queen, I want her to think of me as a king, because I'm going to think of her as a queen. Think of our children as princes and princesses. Think of everybody as divinely human, even beyond the idea of quote-unquote royalty. It's just a word to signify a compassion, concern, in my opinion. Anyways, here is Thich Nhat Hanh from Fear, Essential Wisdom for Getting Through the Storm. Thich Nhat Hanh. So I rolled 128, and I usually would go back to have a clear idea, concept. This is all connected the first couple pages, and that's the message then. I roll the dice, I read this, and I'm going to do a breathing exercise with you guys, or a practice for transforming fear. Releasing fear from body and feelings. 8 simple mindfulness exercises. Practicing mindful breathing helps us experience joy and peace. When we concentrate on our breath, we're not carried off by thoughts about the past or the future. We're free of all thinking. When we're lost in thought, we can't be really present. Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." But most of the time, the truth is more like, "I think, therefore I am not really here." When we bring our attention to our in-breath, we're not thinking about our in-breath. It's direct experience. We're living our in-breath. Our in-breath is not a thought, it's a reality. We are living the reality that is our in-breath. Breathing in, I enjoy my in-breath. When we breathe this way, in mindfulness, we can see many things. We can touch the miracle of life. Because when we breathe mindfully, we realize that we're alive. To be alive is a fantastic thing. To be present in the here and now, breathing, is a miracle. To be alive is one of the greatest of miracles. Parents holding a newborn child know this. People on their deathbeds know it too. To be alive, breathing, taking steps on this planet is a wonderful thing. We don't need to drink some wine or host a dinner party to celebrate life. We can celebrate it in every moment with our breathing and our steps. With mindfulness and concentration, we can get in touch and live every moment of our daily lives as a miracle. And we can do it right now, today. The energy of mindfulness can be generated anytime, anywhere. With mindful breathing, mindful walking, that energy brings us deeply in touch with the wonders of life, and that's what brings us happiness. Our practice is very concrete, very simple. When you breathe in and you really pay attention to your in-breath, there will be a change right away. You are more there, and you touch more of reality. When you practice walking meditation, you walk so mindfully that you're able to be in touch with reality in a deeper way, and you begin to live your life more deeply. How closely you're in touch with reality depends on your way of breathing and looking. Here are some simple exercises of mindful breathing to use whenever fear arises. Exercises 1 through 4 for taking care of the body. Exercises 5 through 8 for taking care of the feelings. I'm only going to do one exercise. Not exercise 9. It doesn't exist. That would be my own. Exercise 1. The first exercise is extremely simple, but it brings great benefit. The insight that you are really here, alive, and online. Broadcasting. Geez, you guys, isn't this an amazing moment? I mean, just not for you witnessing this with me. I'm talking about like in the universe, humanity reaching this point. You're not only this body, but you're also your environment. You're all of this. The practice is so simple, yet it can bring the miracles of joy and happiness. The first exercise is breathing in. I know this is an in-breath. Breathing out. I know this is an out-breath. We recognize the in-breath as an in-breath and the out-breath as an out-breath. It's easy. When we do that, we bring our attention to the in and out breath. We let go of our thinking. We let go of the past, of the future, of our projects. We are only with our breath and we are free. Our in-breath becomes the sole object of our attention and awareness. We can enjoy just breathing. So practice, considering it's on breathing, I'm going to just do it. And I will be internally repeating this. I'll do 5 minutes of it. It's been about 6 minutes. And I started with exercise 1, but I quickly thought, but I rolled a 9 first, and if he gives 8, I rolled a 9. It's a 1 in 10 chance to roll just beyond the last one. Like I'm adding to it. I've been meditating a long time. And it wasn't meditation to begin with. And you've been meditating a long time. You don't realize it yet. You have a different name for it. But it's a pulling in to your body awareness. These exercises are beginner stuff. This is beginner stuff. I'm a living embodiment. And what that means to me is, it's not a matter, actually, reach no mind. And reaching no mind, my awareness goes into my neck, into my posture, my shoulders. Suddenly I want to roll my shoulders. And this even came in, it started with Alexander's technique, but that was after Pilates, that was after yoga, that was after martial arts. But Alexander's technique on this idea of move all your joints every day. How often are you even getting out of a standing or seated position? A lot of meditation, mindfulness practices. The purpose is the ascetic life, which is the monk who went to the monastery, involved a lot of meaningless routine to discipline the person, but was characterized by a truly humble output. Like they didn't have a lot of material stuff. Realizing that awareness with robots and AI around us is going to be very normal. It's going to be the bare minimum. And when you are asked to chill your emotions, when you're too much because you listen to the psychotherapists instead of your own soul, you just rob yourself of getting the body awareness that keeps you worrying if your sinus has drained. You know, and up here, this is in Shiatsu and Reiki, there are meridians. The endocrine system has things that flow all throughout your whole face. I can hear little squishy, 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 squishy. You do this stuff. Why do I do this? Because I'm helping whatever fluids are there to just flow. What's up, Punchy 3 Bad? How you doing? I've only got 10 minutes left. I do have to roll on schedule today. Good to see you though. Welcome. But yeah, point is, meditation, the next step of meditation, I think, I'm doing well. I just did a little bit of a breathing exercise. I got a busy Sunday, honestly. I got things going on all day. But I'm gonna go pick up some food, and I've been laid off. I got some surprisingly large credit card bills recently. I hate looking at like a credit card bill and be like, oh fuck, like I'm broke. I'm not broke, but I'm spending. I gotta stop spending money. Holy shit. But or that I do a job, I guess. Maybe I do something more productive than talk to people online. Who knows? I got a few more weeks to figure it out, and hopefully I get a resolve on the unemployment stuff and all that. Yeah. Part myself out to the internet, make some cash. Yeah, that's a good idea. Right on the advent of AI, why don't I rush to just take all my clothes off and give all of my dignity away just before they can like deep fake it anyways? You know what I mean? We're going to be in a world where the naked images of us are going to be, someone's going to have taken a picture of us from across the street, you know, or a billboard's going to take it, and the AI is going to be able to like, here's their naked body. And you're able to say either that is me or that isn't me, you know what I mean? And I just don't want there to be an example of it. Although I have done some nude modeling. I got to lose, the point is I total dad bod stuff going on. So I gotta change the world is I think my only real angle there. That's, but yeah, I did do nude modeling once for a creative exercise. with it was like a 1940s camera. The lady was a photographer who was in the local art scene, invited me down to her warehouse to take some photos. And it probably could have been a threesome if I wanted to take it there, but I didn't. Her and her friend were there. Yeah, no, you just don't have the waist thing. I'm not gonna get the waist together, and I'm hairy. I'm very hairy, and I've got stretch marks and all that. I was not a skinny kid, but whatever. Thank you, I appreciate that. That's appreciate some good vibes. That's cool. Um, yeah, yeah. No, and I'm actually my hair is migrating now. It's good. It's getting strange. I haven't paid much attention to it though. I'm looking at myself a lot more because I'm on camera is the thing, and I spend all this time. Normally, I never see like an image of myself. So yeah, I do as I'm talking and I'm staring directly at a camera image of myself. But yeah, good to meet you. I don't think you've been in here before, right? I don't get my new chatter alerts because I'm using Restream. So I'm streaming to Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. I'm just trying to get a made spread for it. Welcome. Yeah. I do as I log on. For my stream, it is a community. It is supposed to be like good vibes as much as they can be. Yeah, same name on YouTube. Um, and that's cool. But for me, the thing is, we really got as humanity, we've got to start figuring out how to use internet and these like broadcast mediums to connect with good people and build essentially the future society. So um, for me, this is very much like a working profile versus an entertainment stream sort of thing, or striptease sort of thing. Wellness, though, is key. Wellness is key to thought, and wellness is very sexy. And so is thought. Thought is very sexy. The brain is the biggest sex organ in the body. Yeah, not until I know you a little bit better, man. I just, that's too quick for even me. I'm absolutely. I spent a lot of time making really bad choices the day of meeting people, and I try not to anymore. Well, I say I try not to. I was like, I was like, last time it happened, I was like 38. Hang out with a dirty blonde. Keep drinking. Wake up and. Although that wasn't the day of, but I mean, I hadn't known her for longer than 6 hours, like of interaction. I try to be slower. I try to be sensible about it. I'm just totally. I was raised in the suburbs on Saved by the Bell and shit. I was raised to just be who I am, and I try to be more gentle about it. At least we're a warning sign now. So I'm not necessarily worried about it. It's more just a matter of if I'm really representing a narrative that we have to be more responsible. I want to focus on that. And I'm not trying to find an audience. I'm hoping that the historic moment that we're in is going to drive people to want to connect with each other. And I'll just be like another member on that level. So with it, but the point is intimacy, and I'm totally bohemian in my shit. I don't care. Like have go get it on and get off all day every day. You might as well. I mean, your body's there to be exercised. If you have an urge to do it, it's probably something basic inside that you should just satisfy. Better for your wellness in general. So yeah. Yeah, and really on the AI tip, right? Imagine where we're about to be. I'm looking forward to when I have a waifu bot or seven. I'll be talking to you. My seven waifu bots will be like little tiny waifu hands, just like gently massaging me from behind. Pay attention to us. Pay attention to us. No, waifu bots. I gotta talk to this new guy, Punchy. This is gonna be. Go away. Stop. and they're just tireless, right? They don't stop, mostly because I programmed them that way, right? You have the setting, and you turn that thirst level up to 11. I mean, a level 11 thirst waifus. It'll eventually get tired, but yeah, and yeah, they're of course very compact. Each one being, at most 5'4" and very, very flexible. Um, but the point is or husbando bots, right? The point is we're all going to have these bots. We're going to be able to, we're going to get attention we want it. We're going to get attention until we don't want it anymore, because the thing is a machine couldn't give you personalized human touch, but very soon they're going to be able to, in a way which is very pleasurable. I mean, right now we're holding it in our hand, right? There's the AI-driven, I was talking about that earlier, the AI-driven sex toys, which they're doing things which you have to be on it to do anything like what these suction-based clitoris stimulating things are for these ladies. Good throat game. What is good throat game? Because I'm not like crazy hung or anything, and women have given me head before, for hours, until their like mouth is numb, and they're like, "Are you gonna finish?" I'm like, "Probably not," because they some of them will allow you to do different things, but as I see it, it's a dominance play. And but the point is, even the 10 out of 10 de-sucking skills, 9 out of those 10 are because she's using her hands. Your tongue is not competition for 10 fingers. It's never going to be. So the throat being included, to me, is more of a hangover of a very dominant. Well, no, I honestly, the point is, oral stuff is usually, like, for me in intimacy, oral stuff is usually very short on the start. Both ways, whatever. But the point is, you're not getting your bulk of enjoyment from that. For me, I can get to finish through copulation, through like actual penetration. That usually doesn't get her off. Then to get her off, I use my hands mostly. And the point is, it's the reason I kiss her down there is to let her know I care about her, right? And there's a big important aspect to that. And she should be also care enough about you to not be afraid of it, right? Or even in homosexual relationships, all this is absolutely true. I think human beings just connect on a tension level, if they're healthy, right? The point is, sex is sex. I prefer a warm, trusting, loving relationship where I don't have to worry about them talking shit about me, where they're not judging me based on externalized, shallow factors, where they're not demeaning my general character. From inside my bed, they can cause me a tremendous amount of harm. I understand that. And that is much more important than the sexual acts. But if you really maintain those things, yeah, if you really maintain that true bond, the sex just gets better, better, better. And eventually it's strange things that you're doing together, but at the same time, you're just taking care of each other. And it's driven from a awareness of the other person's soul, that if you're interacting that much, you develop absolutely a vibe. And some people are more receptive to it or not. I think I'm very receptive. That's what I've sought for a long time. And seeking that has left me alone for a very long time, which has led to at least a self-definition that I'm sure of. And I try not to judge the whole world too much, but I end up very judgmental because other people don't seem to be seeking anything like what I have built, which is just frustrating, right? I need attention too as a human being, a little bit, right? So, but the point is, so much of our sexuality is echoes of porn, which are really just dominance echoes. It's men demeaning women a lot of times. A lot of times. There's also women demeaning men. There's predators of both sexes, and women demeaning women, and men demeaning men, and me just demeaning everybody. The point is that they, in a relationship, in a sexual sort of thing, I socially demean. I don't sexually demean anybody. I never have. Um, yeah, cheers, Punchy. Yeah. No, I try to be, and how we define intimacy. This is we lose so much time and energy to this as a society. We've lost 3 generations. Why are we wasting time with these like fucking human limitations? Really, when I expect I'm literally going to be able to have like 7 fucking waifus. I'm fucking under this desk here in like a few months. Like I don't need to have some other person subjugated to be subservient to me. I just hope I can find a space where it's like shared, right? And that's really hard. A lot of people believe there's like an intrinsic exchange, and if you don't play into that intrinsic exchange, which as a man, it's like they still force me to be a provider. Well, if I'm gonna be a provider, then you got to be the traditional. And I don't mind being a provider. The providing is not a hard part for me, but I'm just not going to be taken advantage of like that. And it is an abuse, right? And when you really get to that level with your partner, it's different. It's very, very different, I think. And then the actions of the sexual act, it's not so much about how bizarre or difficult any sexual action is. Yes. There was a time when I was running the music scene. I ran a music venue for a couple of years, and yeah, no, when honestly, it's a wonderful role to play. I don't know why women gave it up. I would take the deal. If I was prettier, I would take the deal. It's a, but life's good, you know, and you just do what you can. But anyways, though, I do have to roll and take care of some stuff. Punchy, I appreciate you showing up. I do have these. If I get an audience and I get an engaged community, I will make it more often. Um, every now and then a chatter comes through. Not many of them have come back so far. So I'm keeping my schedule live. Um, yeah, cheers. Well, okay, great. Yeah, I appreciate that, and I will try to stream again soon. Today's gonna be busy, but um, I I was doing it daily. I'm doing it at least this twice a week. The Discord's a way to communicate. Twitch, you can Twitch message me if you have any questions. I'm absolutely here to help people to understand the change that we're seeing in the world and to propose how we build. Thank you, appreciate you. Yeah, not many people have. I'm just getting this thing started on this level where I'm approaching the public. I've been doing it for 20 years though, and we need to get it done. We need to figure out some way to secure a real future. And there's going to be a lot more pleasant intimacy in that future if we manage to do that, I think. So, but the point is, I'm here, and you know, we're on the internet. We're all connected. You're welcome to reach out, to talk, anything. And I will be back on probably tomorrow because this was good conversation. I appreciate you. Thank you, Punchy. Take care. God bless you. And you know, I keep the faith that we're in a truly incredible moment. You know. Cheers. You don't even see my